Well, firstly, for those that don't follow you, just a brief introduction in the room. Give us an overview of what's been pissing you off so much about the American record business for the last 5 to 10 years. In less than 10 minutes.
The problem is my demo, the baby boomers. Now, if you're a baby boomer, and if you're not American, let me tell you, we have a huge problem in America. Greatest fucking country in the world. Don't ever forget it. People like George Bush never left the country. Greatest fucking country in the world. It's like, now in this particular hotel, we have a double flush toilet. It's very rare in America. You have to go to Europe. Europe, when you go to the gas station, they have electronic signs, what the price is. They don't have to get a little man up there changing. America, greatest country in the world. So, what we have in America is we have a huge gap between the rich and the poor. Even the Wall Street Journal, the right-wing paper of record, says that it's much worse than many other developed nations, especially in Western Europe. People are ignorant, I could go on about that because it affects our society at large. But the people in the music business who are baby boomers, they want to be part of the 1%. Okay? You know, he would laugh if he were talking about it. Irving Azoff is chasing the 1%. Okay? He's got his plane, he wants to be like the bankers, but he can't be like the bankers. Let's go to U2. U2 was on tour for 2.5 years. They did 750 million gross. Let's just say they split the money 5 ways. They don't pay any taxes. Let's just say they net $75 million. Good payday if you're watching reality TV. But there are executives in the banking and industries who make $50 million a year in, year out. And they have an accountant, but they don't even have a lawyer who's on retainer taking 5%. Okay? So when you have these baby boomers running the music business, it's about lifestyle. You have the Mercedes lease, you have the house, you have the vacation house, you have the private school education. Okay? They have a nut. Don't fuck with their nuts. Leroy Cohn, if you don't know, he basically runs Warner Music Group. How long is up in the air? He called me one night and he said, this isn't the heyday of the whole Napster thing. I mean, file trading, let's call it 2005. And he says, it's got to go down this way. The record company has to exist because otherwise, what happens to Leroy? I mean, literally he's telling me this stuff on the phone, you can't believe it. Whereas someone who's under the age of 20, they're a fan, they live for the music, they'll work around the clock. This is what's happening in the world at large, is all these kids under the age of 30 are running circles around everybody in industry, in news, in music, etc. So we have this incredible tumult in the music business. Now I want to start with one thing. How long do we hear from people, CD is the best medium? Now everybody knows CD is done. But now we hear it in the book business. I like to read a physical book. I don't like a Kindle. I mean, we already saw the movie in the music business. And then you get the people who say, people will never rent music. Okay, let's go back to the history of home video. You bought videotapes, then you rented videotapes, then you rented DVDs, then you bought DVDs, then you rented DVDs from Netflix, and now you stream it. The public will go wherever we lead them. Don't listen to what people say. So we have this incredible tumult in the music business. I'm going to describe what's going on in the U.S. because it's not the same everywhere else. I go into different countries, but I'll do that first just to set up. In the UK, they follow music like a horse race. Some matron is going to know what's number one, is going to know what's going on. Europe, there's been a loosening of radio, but still it's more about whether you've made it. If you made it, you're in the club. Now in America, primarily as a result of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, we had radio consolidation, which killed radio. Okay? So, we have this radio market. Forgetting Lady, because there's always exceptions. Lady Gaga, who people see as legitimate and see as very successful, she's at the pinnacle. But everybody else, this is a very hip room. But you get people who are not working in this business who have never heard a Rihanna track. Never, ever. Okay, I get an argument with Randy Phillips, who's the big major dome of this whole thing, whatever. You know, Rihanna, because no, there are plenty, because you don't have to. When I was growing up, top 40 radio, I could see every lick of Louis Armstrong's Hello Dolly, because I had to wait for the Beatles track. You know, top 40 radio, that was it. So we had this giant smorgasbord of stuff and an incredible disinformation campaign. The labels had their disinformation campaign. The newspapers had their disinformation campaign. Newspapers are going out of business. So all they do is tell you, oh, we're necessary. If you open up the LA Times, I mean, if you're sophisticated, and it's amazing how sophisticated even 10-year-olds are, this is not really news. These are press releases, okay? Rewritten, so people don't have trust for that. Blending into this world, okay, the biggest story in the music business 2 years ago was the Electronic Daisy Carnival. 2 nights, Los Angeles Coliseum, 80,000 people. Most people in America had no fucking idea who these acts were. The big story became that some underage, about illness and death, whatever. Forget all that, because people died at, at every rock festival, okay? The bottom line is, how did these kids know? And they don't give a shit about anything. They don't give a shit about Rihanna. They don't give a shit about top 40 radio. They needed to be there. And it's about the experience. One of the things I love to do is I love to watch the trailers for Ultra and for Electronic Daisy Carnival. It's like, it's better than the movies. You say to yourself, fuck, I have to go. I went to this thing called Hard Festival. And it was really cool. My friend Eric Kurtz, he's a promoter, he's worked for Bill Silva, now he works for Live Nation. Showed with Gary Richards, you might know Gary Richards, been around forever in this world. Says, we're gonna go! So I've been doing all these things, I say, okay, we're gonna go. The best thing is, first we go into security. Security is like a war room, okay? They have a map on the wall. We've done, this is where they break in, this is where you this checkpoint. It was literally like going to the CIA. And I was on the phone with the guys from Live Nation. He's talking about whether they can do an indoors outdoor. I said, you have no idea what's going on with security. But the reason I'm telling this story is, first you went inside in the shrine, and then you went outside. I'm standing there, and the girls were driving me nuts. But I don't want to say anything, because I feel like a dirty old man. And I'm there, and I just can't believe it. And Eric, he finally, after about 20 minutes, he goes, you looking at it? I'm looking at it. Yeah. And then the next night I went to a party in Pacific Palisades community in West Los Angeles. And these people started saying, we're going to tell you the most incredible story. This is people over the age of 50. We went to the football game. It happens to be close to where, it's on the USC campus where the Art Festival is. You're not going to believe these people were there. You're telling the story over there. And then they said, I was there. And they looked like I was on the Titanic. They couldn't believe you were there? The girls weren't wearing anything, etc., etc. The reason I bring this up to not make it sexual, but sex is a big part of it, is you really have to be there. That's what the most exciting thing is about this electronic music scene, virgin scene. I come on forever, but I'll let you ask more questions.
I was worried about not having enough questions. I used to be reading at these things. I actually prepared for this one, and I should have just thrown this away.
I'll answer your question, so go.
No, listen. So 2010, I reckon, in the summer, you start writing about electronic music. You end up in Ibiza. We invited you. You didn't fucking come to our thing. But you end up in Ibiza. So tell us about that. How did Bob Lefsetz end up in Ibiza in the summer of 2010?
Okay,
in case you haven't got a good answer, I'll get the question.
The problem with being honest is you're going to say some things that don't necessarily look good. But I'm going to tell you the honest story. My girlfriend's father is this guy, Henry Mancini. You may not know who that is, but he wrote The Pink Panther and Moon River, etc., etc. Anyway, there are 3 children. My girlfriend has a twin sister. You have no idea what that's like. I'll go on forever. Imagine having your best friend living in your house. But forgetting that, they have a brother who's an older brother, and the worst thing that ever happened, he literally says, is when the twins were born. But he worked at the University of Music Publishing until his father died in 1992. His father died prematurely at age 70 by today's standards. But every summer, he goes to a movie. Okay? I don't know what it is, whatever, and they don't give the time of day. I'm the first person who's in the world. He's talks and he knows what I'm talking about. And it's going to be his 60th birthday. And I said, we should all go to Ibiza for his 60th. And ultimately we did. And, listen, listen, you know, I have the luxury of having certain connections. I'll tell you the best part about it. The person from EMI Records, she knows I'm going. Actually, this is an interesting story. Because I'm in London, and they tell me I have to meet with a guy. Suddenly I'm blocking his name. The guy from Dexy's Midnight Runners. So, he tells me the story. No, I'm not the name.
Neil, no, sorry. Nick Gafford.
Nick Gafford. So I go to this meeting and Nick Gafford would go out for a drink, and he tells me the story he made with Dead Mouse. That's how I became hip to it. The Dead Mouse came to him, because you know, the labels are trying to look like they still know what's going on. Meanwhile, you know, he got blown out and moved across the street, and Nick. But he told me that Dead Mouse came to him with his vision, which you may or may not grow up with. Okay? Came to his vision, says, I need money because I have this vision for this unbelievable show. And EMI went into a partnership with him and did not demand that he put out any records. This was the first time. This is the first I've heard of it. Now, if you've been to see Dead Mouse, it was money well spent. And then we went to Ibiza, and the same person, Swedish House Mafia, was at Pasha. So they get us, you know, in the VIP area, and you know, it's starting to be like this in Vegas, but we've never seen anything like it in America. You know, we're not paying, and we go through the drinks, and then the next bottle of vodka, you know, is 200 euros. And then there's another friend of mine, this guy Lenny, who's a DJ there, who I met as a friend of my girlfriend's. Can we do something about the echo here? You know, the sound guy? And he's telling me the Russians will come in, like on New Year's Eve, people will be in the VIP area, and they'll pay 40,000 euros to kick these people out. And it's like, if you're an American, British country, this is just like mind-blowing. And then you see what's going on, and every night we went to different clubs, so that's how I ended up there.
I think at the time you said, "Oh, so the rock is dead." I'm reading your quotes now, so you can't deny this. I'm not sure if electronic is here to replace it, but it's certainly one of the surviving niches in this case, thriving.
You know, from hanging out here, there's a lot of lifers here in the electronic music world, and that's really interesting. But if you're dispassionate about it, if you follow rock history, 1967 was the Summer of Love in San Francisco. Nobody knew about that who wasn't there. It was 1968 that the average person got involved. I will call the Summer of Love electronic music 2010. Okay, 2011 was when everybody in America got involved. And it's funny, it's like talking to Gary Richards, been in for 20 years. He says it's like the flu. There he is. I didn't see you over there. I'll repeat what you say. You say it better than I'll probably fuck it up. So it's like the flu, it comes and goes. So, is it really going to be here?
Errol Alkin told me that.
It's a good one.
Okay, so the question becomes, we don't know. I'll tell you, you know, what you're trying to do is you're searching for information. Okay, I'm going to be a big skier. I'm on a gondola which holds like 6 or 8 people in Vail in December. And then early 20-somethings are talking music services. They were talking in Pandora, which I'm not a big fan of, whatever. So about halfway up, I started talking about Spotify. They look at me like I'm from Mars. Where's this old guy who knows what's going on? I said, let's start talking music. They start testifying about Avicii. Avicii's really gone up in America recently. They knew Avicii. They knew all these bands that were going to go. That's what they were into. If you open the newspaper, it's about all these nitwits on top 40 radio. So the question becomes, is this going to be the next thing? You know, I don't believe the fact that David Guetta worked with all these stars means that's what's going to keep electronic music going. First and foremost, it's about the live scene, okay? And the live scene is about hanging with your friends and drugs. It just is, okay? And the music is the special sauce. The whole thing is evolving. So, certainly electronic music will never die. Rock will die before electronic music. But is it here to stay? I'll tell you one further story. I wrote half of this story I went to Atlantic Studios where they let everybody make records, and Flo Rida was in there, was pretty funny, but the guy who oversees it, this guy Mike Karen, and he's an A&R guy at Atlantic Records, although it looks like he's going to be a Sony, and he says, I have a 2-year-old. I have a 2-year-old, and my 2-year-old can use the iPad. And when this kid grows up, is this kid going to get a guitar and learn how to play the guitar? Or look at the continuum of the iPad, the computer. That is music to a 2-year-old. Fascinating insight. If that is true, holy fuck. I mean, it's going to be electronic music.
I was going to take you back. You said 2011 was the Renaissance for America, which it kind of was. I think back in March, you did a great blog because you ended up at Paul Oakenfold's house one night.
That's why I did that.
And you mocked your readers at the time for maybe not knowing who he is, but you said that Paul gave you your first radio experience 8 years before. But tell us a bit about that. That was one of your greatest blogs.
I know this guy. Some people knew him, this guy Vince Bean. Presently works for Getty Images. And before that, he was a punk musician, a concert promoter in Detroit. And then he worked for Sony with Celine Dion, of all people. And if you know Vince, and he's a good friend of mine, he's a real boisterous, blathering guy. And we were all together, this was then, and he starts talking about, it was happening to me about Paul, about he's going to play a gig, and they're going to pick him up in a private jet from Europe or on a Concorde before they shut the Concorde down and fly. You know, I understand the dollars involved there. There's hard dollars involved. That was the first big indication that, whoa, this is happening.
What do you think your observations are about where electronic dance music is today? I mean, Guetta, Calvin Harris, Swedish House Mafia, they're on Top 40 radio. Electric Daisy Carnival was predicting 300,000 people this year. Ultra just did about 180,000 people across 3 days. Coachella's bill is infiltrated with electronic acts. So, where do you see us at today? Are we becoming the monster?
I don't think the top 40 thing is significant. Because
it is if you listen to Kiss in Los Angeles.
I don't think, because I think that people, there's a great story this week with Instagram, if you follow this. Instagram was purchased by Facebook. There are some reasons there. It's basically a backdoor into the iPhone and mobile and tagging, etc. But about a week before this, Instagram released their Android app. And the double whammy are people saying, fuck Instagram, I'm out. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But we have the same thing in music. It's a cultural, tribal thing. What people don't realize is in the MTV era, okay, we had a monoculture. Now we have all this crazy stuff. And it's about your badge of identity. So the people listening on Top 40 radio are there. Like, who could endure that many commercials? I mean, what kind of person is listening to the radio? Come on. Okay? So they're not the core people. I don't think it's a negative thing, but I don't think that's what's really driving it. I think the point is people live for this music. They live for the scene. They live for the experience. If you go to the rock show, they treat you like shit. Okay? You can't get a good seat. They abuse you. The Wall Street people come in and get the better seats. Where if you go to an electronic show, it's a real feeling of community. When I went to see Skrillex, and the other thing about these guys is all these acts are human. They're not pompous like the rock acts. Okay? The rock acts, they don't, it's all facade, etc. I mean, I was familiar with the Dead Mouse thing that you were talking about with Twitter, but then, people emailed me constantly said, he goes online and just answers questions. So you go to the link, and he is sitting there in front of, electronic equipment, but it couldn't have been more poorly set, okay? And he's smoking, he's got a cigarette. It really looks like he just went into his living room. If you were a fan, it could not be any better. So all these things the electronic musicians know by instinct. And I think that is a really, good aspect. Will we have the electronic music Dark Side of the Moon, Sgt. Pepper, I don't know. But the scene is developing so fast. I mean, right now everybody's on backlash. Dubstep. By the same token, dubstep got a lot of people interested. So it's a, it's an evolving scene.
Yeah, you wrote one of my final questions for me on your blog tonight is, because I was going to ask you this. So with all the interest now from kind of major promoters like Nation AEG and billionaires and venture capital funds, is electronic music on the verge of being hoarded out? The big boys going to ruin it?
That's a very complicated question. Because first and foremost, people like to get paid. And they like to go into deals with people who will pay them. If you haven't been stiffed, you're not in the music business.
Well, lessons to be learned.
Okay? So,
from each other.
When someone is being paid by Live Nation or AEG, they really don't think they're not going to get paid. This goes, same thing with record labels. Now, major labels are institutionalized thievery, okay? But the independents are worse. They just run out of money, they don't pay you, and there's nothing you can do, okay? So if you tell the artist, because it always comes down to the artist, hey, you're going to be treated right, you're going to get paid a lot, and it's going to be guaranteed, that's very appealing to them. Going back to the point about purchase, this is the point I made when I wrote earlier. If you're old enough, and probably a few people in this room are, there was a scene in the late 60s, the Fillmore East and the Fillmore West. And Bill Graham, who's a thief himself, he said, I'm closing this down because the acts want too much money. Fillmore East held 2,600 people. I bet most people in this room can't tell you when the Fillmore East closed. In case you're interested, it was June of 1971. Because we had a lot of evolving yet to go. They just moved into bigger venues because that's how many people wanted to go. So let's talk nuts and bolts, okay? You have Electronic Daisy Carnival. People are dying to buy this. Let me walk a legal line here. My sources tell me they can't buy it because the books are in complete disarray. They don't really know what they're buying. I mean, Live Nation's literally a public company. Okay? So on one hand, you have a guy who's got the most successful thing other than Ultra Baby in America, and that's happening, people want in, but they're somewhat scared. Let's go one step further. They're also public companies. We've lived through Cop Killer and the divorce of Interscope. We know it's a different label from Warner. We had this woman, C. Dolores Tucker, said, you can't put that stuff out on your label, and Warner said, you're right. And they got rid of the list. Forgetting the Universal Music ultimately picked up Interscope, they blinked. So if Live Nation comes in and electronic music versions, and they want to do a big event in Des Moines, and somebody died. Somebody died at, they have a new venue, it should be outside of Denver. And if you hear the whole story, the kid was climbing on the bleachers, but he fell and he died, okay? So then if people start suing, if you're an individual, it's different. First of all, you might be able to declare bankruptcy. So on some level, these companies are afraid of electronic music, but they love money, so they're not that afraid. So what they want to do is figure a way to get in. AEG is already in. AEG owns Coachella. Let's start from the beginning. Golden Voice was so busy losing money that they went to AEG. Live Nation, Irving, they don't come any smarter. And in addition, don't forget both AEG and Live Nation in Europe are involved in a lot of these festivals. So we already lived through this with the internet. I'm an early internet adopter, and all the business publications said, oh, it's going to become about money and ads. It did. The 1994 internet where the girl from college, told her life online, it exists in some fashion, but it's been trumped by these other things because things evolve. So I believe big money, if you say, we got to keep the big money out of electronic music, I think you're dreaming. And also I think there is some positive to big money. Now, when you talk culturally, that's a whole different thing. One of the great things about this scene is it's been around for decades. You people have been doing it for a long time. Whereas historically, when the big boys have come in music business, it's been a new scene. When we have this actor doing something new, they've been doing it for 6 months. Okay? So you guys have an idea of what's going on. So as far as the entities that exist who want to make deals with big companies, you know, the devil's in the details. You're going to be able to exert some control so things go your way. But absolutely, the culture is an important thing that's going forward. But don't forget, if you become big, it comes with haters. If electronic music becomes bigger, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that say, oh man, I was there 10 years ago. No, it's no good anymore. Either those people stop going, or they age out, or they get a smaller seat. It goes with the territory. I view the fact that big people want to get involved with the electronic scene as a good thing. They were there last. If you're talking Live Nation, you're talking AEG, this is the business they're in. There was a story on the front page of the New York Times that Rob Burkle wants to get in. Rob Burkle's I believe he's a billionaire, and he tried to buy one of the labels, etc. He's got no infrastructure. Now, everybody needs deep pockets, etc. He wants it. And the other thing we all know is, relative to revenue, profit margins are not that good in music. I mean, you look at Apple, the world's most valuable company, you know, and the cost of doing business is so low. There's so much profit. Profit can be like 65%. If you can put on an electronic show and you can make 65% profit, I'll invest all my money. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So there's some natural restrictions, but there are lifers. I'll give you may or may not know this guy, Cliff Bernstein. He's got a company called Q Point. They manage Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, and a whole bunch of other A-level acts. And I was in his house during the height of the Napster thing, and I said, Cliff, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? He goes, one thing I'm never going to do is I'm never going to go in the movie business. Because we all know how stupid those people are. But they've been doing it for 20 years. They know where all the dollars are. I've been doing this at this point 30-odd years in the music business. I know where every dollar is buried. And I see this myself. I'm in the promoter's room, and he shows me the 2 sets of books. This is, this is the deal I got kicked back from the promoter. It's very thin, and you have to make it work. So if you survive this long in a motion game, you know all the tricks. You are going to continue to be in there. I don't believe it's about creating a cabal saying, hey, we won't sell out. But it's music in general. If you're not true to your roots, whether it be an act that changes sound or pours itself out to a corporation, there's a backlash from the fans of the community. Be no different in this scene. So I believe it has to be managed, but you can't say, we can't hold back the future.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now, music, you can shake a leg to the one and only Jason Bentley over the back there.